A decision is made. Facebook can keep former President Donald Trump off of its platforms for now. An independent advisory board made the decision today. That company-appointed panel ruled that the ban was justified at the time, but it's now calling on the social media giant to reassess its action and make a final decision in 6 months. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight at 7:30. I'm Megan Schiller. It's a move that is expected to set precedent for how Facebook will treat other politicians and other world leaders. Today, the panel agreed that the former president violated Facebook's rules of prohibiting praise or support of people engaged in violence during the January 6th Capitol riots. The New York Times reports since the board began issuing rulings, it's overturned Facebook's decisions in 4 out of the 5 cases it has reviewed. In a statement, Mr. Trump blasted Facebook, saying in part, what the social media companies have done is, quote, a total disgrace. Facebook says it will determine an action that is clear and proportionate. Joining me now live over Zoom to dive deeper into the impact on free speech is Robert Morris University professor Anthony Moretti. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hi, Megan. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. What can you tell us about the creation and the makeup of this oversight board that a lot of us are hearing about for the first time?
Well, I think in some ways the best comparison I can give, and this may be a little bit too much inside baseball, for those of us who have spent any time in the media, but it's very much like the ombudsman, that person who is a part of the organization but separate from the organization, someone who therefore ought to be able to give as objective and bias-free an opinion of what's taking place. This, though, is more than just one person or 2 people. This is a group of 20, and Facebook has talked about perhaps expanding it to as many as 40 people over time. So you begin to see where a board of that size, and again, you get into any meeting with 15, 20 people, and various opinions are going to take over, and various people are going to feel particularly strong one way or the other.
And I think that's one of the challenges. It back?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. That's one of the challenges here, is that the board really didn't make a decision. Similarly, Mark Zuckerberg, who probably was the person who should have stood up and announced what this was going to be about. What the board essentially said today was, you know what, we're not sure you did the right thing, but for now, let's not rock the boat. Let's not change what you did, but you need to have better policies in place. That's not a very convincing argument either to support the president, the former president, or to criticize, because again, there's not much in this that you can say is really making sense.
And it all boils down to the main question, which is, do tech companies have power over online speech on their platforms?
And that's that's going to be one of the great legal questions, as we continue to move forward, because, if you're a free speech absolutist, your argument is you shouldn't necessarily ban anybody unless there's the equivalent of the, yelling fire in a crowded theater type situation. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, you'll have people who will say, but wait a minute, any organization ought to be able to determine, yes, we do, or no, we don't want these kind of messages on our social media platform. There's no clean answer to any of this, and that's what makes today very, very much frustrating, I think, for almost everybody who either is interested in this decision or directly affected by it.
What implications does this case have for the future of speech online?
I think at some point, and I know that this idea of this oversight board, the term Supreme Court was used. I fear that inevitably the Supreme Court's going to get involved in here in deciding this. And I think one of the problems associated with that is that the Supreme Court is very much traditionally or historically has tried to say, look, let's try to move the law in sort of incremental ways. It is not by nature one that's going to say, let's take tremendous or make tremendous changes. It would be better if Congress made some clear decisions and advanced some clear legal policies or governmental policies, but that certainly doesn't appear the case in the political environment we're in right now.
Professor Moretti, thank you for weighing in tonight.
Great. You have a good night. Thanks, Megan.
You too.